Hello everyone, welcome to my kitchen. I'm Velmoor. Today I am not bringing you someone else's recipe. I'm going to be making for you a Chef Velmoor special. I've spoken before on this channel how I'm not fond of baking or sweets, but this recipe is an exception to that statement. This is a banana bread that I have adapted over the years, taking ideas from several other recipes, including some that weren't even banana bread, to kind of turn this into my own recipe. I will also be making the final product into a French toast. This is banana nut French toast. Let's get started. So for this recipe, what I'm going to require is 1.5 cups of flour. I tend to like to do half a cup of wheat flour and a cup of all-purpose flour. Teaspoon of baking soda, teaspoon of baking powder, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, tablespoon of cocoa powder, tablespoon of espresso powder, an overloaded half cup of chocolate chips, an overloaded half cup of nuts. I prefer walnuts in this situation, but just about any nut will do. A stick of butter, a cup of sugar, 2 eggs, 2 overripe bananas that have been mashed up, 1.5 teaspoons of vanilla, and for this I'm actually going to mix this one up a bit, and that's going to involve zesting about half an orange, and in this case I'm using a blood orange, and I generally also use about 2 tablespoons of lemon juice, but since I'm already zesting an orange, I'm going to use orange juice in this one. So now I'm going to start with a flour mixture, which incidentally is going to start with flour. With my additional wheat flour, baking soda, baking powder, cocoa powder, espresso powder, and salt. And I'm just going to whisk that together. In another bowl, I'm going to mix together my chocolate chips. And like I said, for these, I like to do an overloaded half a cup, so I'm just going to pour in a little bit extra in there. Actually, this one's probably going to be a little closer to a cup because the bag I had was almost empty, so I just poured whatever was left in there. And now my walnuts. Again, I like these to usually be a little bit overloaded, but since I added a few extra chocolate chips, I'll probably not add as much of the walnuts. Then I'm going to add in a little bit of flour. And I'm just going to toss it around so the flour coats. And now I'm going to mash up the banana. Now for the rest of the batter, I'm going to start with butter. And I'm going to beat that until it gets a little fluffy. Now that I've gotten it to the consistency I want, I'm going to add the sugar a little bit at a time. And mix those together. And now one at a time, I'm going to add the eggs and beat that together. Now I'm going to add in my banana, vanilla, orange zest, and my orange juice, which, like I said, I was using blood oranges. And I'm going to beat that together. Now I'm going to put my flour in and beat all that together. And now I'm going to put my batter in. And that's going to go into a 350-degree oven for about an hour. I really love eating it while it's still a little warm. With some butter on it, it'll melt together and it'll be just amazing. Even if you're going to use it like I am and planning on making French toast for the next day, you should still have yourself a piece. It's delicious and you earned this. Also, if you are going to make French toast with this, you'll want to cut however many slices you need the night before. That way it'll dry out a little bit and those work a lot better when you're making French toast. The first thing I want to do with my French toast is make an icing. That's going to start with half a stick of butter, about 1/4 cup of softened cream cheese, half a cup of sugar, a pinch of salt, and a few dashes of vanilla. Also, I think to match my orange flavor in my banana bread, I'm going to add some orange juice into this as well. Just a teaspoon. And I'm just going to beat that together until it's nice and smooth. Next, I'm going to put together my mixture that I'm going to dip my pieces of bread into. And since I'm only going to be making 2 pieces of French toast today, I'm just going to use 1 egg, half a cup of milk, teaspoon of vanilla, and a 1/4 teaspoon of espresso powder. And I'm going to stir that together. And now I am going to put my bread in. The bread made in this kind of way, you want to be a little careful with soaking it or it will just fall apart. And that's why I'm only going for about 30 seconds. Now in my hot pan with about a tablespoon of butter, I'm going to add my bread. And like I said, you have to be very careful with the bread when it's in this state because this piece just split in half. So now I'm going to cook these up on each side for about 3 minutes. Well, other than one little snafu with one of the pieces falling apart when I put it in the pan, I think the first video where I share one of my own recipes with you was a major success. The banana bread by itself and also turned into French toast was delicious, packed full of flavor. It was sweet, it was rich. The chocolate chips become almost creamy as they melt. The espresso powder and cocoa powder really balance well with the sugar and banana to make something that's not too sweet. And the bright and citrusy orange flavor stood out quite remarkably to the other flavors. It was noticeable, but it wasn't too powerful. I hope you enjoyed. You can follow me on Instagram or Twitter at chef_Velmoor. The links will be in the description below. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, and come on back next week for another recipe.